Good morning, children. Today we are going to see the lesson name is optics. Now, what topic we are going to see? Today's topic is marginal rays and paraxial rays. First of all, we are going to see paraxial rays. The rays traveling very close to the principal axis and make small angle with it are called paraxial rays. Now we will see the diagram. Students, you can understand now marginal rays, paraxial rays and the principal axis. This is the diagram from which we are going to understand that what is meant by marginal rays and what is meant by paraxial rays, and also we know very well about the principal axis. Shall we go to the theory now? The paraxial rays fall on the mirror very close to the pole of the mirror. On the other hand, the rays traveling far away from the principal axis and fall on the mirror far away from the pole are called as marginal rays. These two rays behave differently. That means these two rays get focused at different points. You can see the diagram 6.8. So we shall restrict our studies only to paraxial rays, as the angles made by paraxial rays are very small. This helps us to make some approximation with the angles in ray optics. You can see clearly this diagram. See the marginal rays which is parallel to the principal axis, which makes some angle. See the paraxial rays which is very close to the principal axis, made a small angle with the mirror. The next topic is relation between F and R. What is meant by F? F means focal length. What is meant by R? R means radius of curvature. Let us C be the center of curvature of the mirror and consider a light ray parallel to the principal axis is incident on the mirror at M and passes through the principal focus F after reflection. Now we will see the diagram of it. This is the diagram. We are going to learn what is meant by F and what is meant by R. Also, what is the relation between F and R. Children, see the diagram very closely and you can understand from the theory. The geometry of reflection of the incident ray is shown in the diagram. The line CM is the normal to the mirror at capital M. Let I be the angle of incidence and the same will be the angle of reflection. If MP is the perpendicular from M on the principal axis, then from the geometry the angles MCB is equal to I and the angle MFP is equal to 2I. From the right angle triangles MCB and MFP will write like this: tan I is equal to PM by PC and tan 2I is equal to PM by PF. As the angles are small, so tan I is equal to I. That means if angle small means we can take only angle. So I is equal to PM by PC and 2I is equal to PM by PF. Simplifying further, we will get 2 PM by PC is equal to PM by PF. That means 2 PF is equal to PC. PF is focal length, F and PC is the radius of curvature R. 2F is equal to R, or F is equal to R by 2. So, derivative number 6.4 says focal length is the half of radius of curvature, or R is equal to 2 times of focal length. This is the relation between focal length and radius of curvature. That means equation 6.4 is the relation between F and R. The construction is clearly shown. Convex mirror 6.9b. Image formation in spherical mirrors. Our next topic. The image can be located by graphical construction. To locate the point of an image, a minimum of two rays must meet at the point. We can use at least any two of it or the following rays to locate image point as shown in the diagram. Children, see the diagram. Diagram A and diagram B, and see the diagram C and D. Now, first point. What says first point? A ray parallel to the principal axis after reflection will pass through or appear to pass through principal focus. Point 2. A ray passing through or appear to pass through the principal focus after reflection will travel parallel to the principal axis. Then, third point. A ray passing through the center of curvature retraces its path after reflection, as it is a case of normal incidence. Point 4. A ray falling on the pole will get reflected as per law of reflection, keeping the principal axis as the normal. Students, our next topic is Cartesian sign convention. While tracing the image, we would normally come across the object distance u, the image distance v, the object height h, the image height will be h dash, the focal length f, and the radius of curvature r. A system of signs for these quantities must be followed so that the relations connecting them are constant. In all types of physical situations, we shall follow the Cartesian sign convention, which is now widely used as given below and also shown the diagram 6.11. The first point is the incident light is taken from left to right. That means object on the left of the mirror. Point 2. All the distances are measured from the pole of the mirror. That means pole is taken as origin. Third point. The distance measured to the right of pole along the principal axis are taken as positive. Point 4. The distances measured to the left of the pole along the principal axis are taken as negative. Point 5. The heights measured in the upward perpendicular direction to the principal axis are taken as positive. Point 6. The heights measured in the downward perpendicular direction to the principal axis are taken as negative. So, this is the diagram for Cartesian sign convention. Height upward positive, incident light left to right, height downward taken as negative. So, distance to the left negative, distance to the right positive. Mirror equation. The mirror equation establishes a relation among the distance u, image v, and focal length f for the spherical mirror, and object AB is considered on the principal axis of a concave mirror beyond the center of curvature C. The image formation is shown in the diagram 6.1. To see the diagram, children, very clearly with the help of book. See this link. See the theory with the help of book. The image formation is shown in the diagram. Let us consider three paraxial rays from point B on the object. The first paraxial ray BD traveling parallel to the principal axis is incident on the concave mirror at D, close to the pole P. After reflection, the ray passes through the focus F. The second paraxial ray BP is incident at the pole P is reflected along PB dash. the third paraxial ray BC passing through center of curvature C falls normally on the mirror at E is reflected back along the same path. The three reflected rays intersect at the point B dash. A perpendicular drawn as A dash B dash to the principal axis is the real inverted image of the object AB. Children, this is the diagram for bringing the mirror equation. You see this diagram very clearly. With the help of theory, you can understand the mirror equation. As per law of reflection, the angle of incidence BPA is equal to the angle of reflection B dash PA dash. The right angles BPA and the B dash PA dash are similar. Thus, from the rule of similar triangles, A dash B dash by AB is equal to PA dash by PA. The other set of similar triangles are DPF and B dash A dash F. The BD is almost a straight vertical line. So, A dash B dash by PD is equal to A dash F by PF. As the distances BD is equal to AB, the above equations becomes A dash B dash by AB is equal to A dash F by PF. The derivative number 6.6. From the equation 6.5 and 6.6, we can write PA dash by PA is equal to A dash by A dash F by PF, as A dash F is equal to PA dash minus PF. The above equation becomes PA dash by PA is equal to PA dash minus PF by PF. We can apply the sign conventions for various distances in the above equation. PA is equal to minus U, PA dash is equal to minus V, and PF is equal to minus F. All the three distances are negative as per the sign convention because they are measured to the left of the pole. Now the equation 6.7 becomes minus V by minus U is equal to minus V minus of minus F by minus F. On further simplification, we'll write V by U is equal to V minus F by F, and V by U is equal to V by F minus 1. Dividing either side with the V, 1 by U is equal to 1 by F minus 1 by V. After rearranging, we'll get 1 by V plus 1 by U is equal to the situation. It is also valid for all the situations with any spherical mirror. This is because proper sign convention is followed for U, V and F in equation 6.7. Our next topic is lateral magnification in spherical mirrors. The lateral or transverse magnification is defined as the ratio of the height of the image to the height of the object. The height of the object and the image are measured perpendicular to the principal axis. See that magnification M is equal to height of the image H dash by height of the object H. So, magnification M is equal to H dash by H. 6.9. Applying proper sign conventions for equation 6.5, A dash B dash by AB is equal to PA dash by PA. A dash B dash is equal to minus H, comma AB is equal to H, PA dash is equal to minus V, PA is equal to minus U. Minus H dash by H is equal to minus V by U. On simplifying, we get M is equal to H dash by H is equal to minus V by U. Derivative number 6.10. Using mirror equation, we can further write the magnification as M is equal to H dash by H is equal to F minus V by F is equal to F by F minus U. The derivative number 6.11. Very important topic. 6.3 Speed of light. Light travels with the highest speed in vacuum. The speed of light in vacuum is denoted as c, and its value is c is equal to 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. It's a very high value. Several attempts were made by scientists to determine the speed of light. The earlier attempt was made by a French scientist, Hippolyte Fizeau, that paved way for the other scientists too to determine the speed of light. Fizeau's method to determine the speed of light. Apparatus. The apparatus used by Fizeau for determining the speed of light in air shown in the diagram. Light from the source S was first allowed to fall on a paraxial, partially silvered glass plate G kept at an angle of 45 degrees to incident light from the source. The light then was allowed to pass through the rotating toothed wheel with n teeth and n cuts of equal width, whose speed of rotation could be varied through an external mechanism, which is not shown in the figure. The light passing through one cut in the wheel will get reflected by a mirror M kept at a long distance D, about 8 km from the toothed wheel. If the toothed wheel was not rotating, the reflected light from the mirror would again pass through the same cut and reach the eyes of observer through the partially silvered glass plate. Working the angular speed of rotation, the toothed wheel was increased from 0 to value omega until light passing through one cut would completely be blocked by the adjacent tooth. This is ensured by the disappearance of light while looking through partially silvered glass plate. Expression for speed of light. The speed of light in air V is equal to the ratio of distance the light travelled from the toothed wheel to the mirror and back 2d to the time taken t. So, the velocity v is equal to 2d by t. The distance d is known value from the arrangement. The time taken t for the height travelled, that is to find rho, is called from the angular speed omega of the tooth wheel. The angular speed omega of the tooth wheel when the light disappeared for the first time is omega is equal to theta by t. Here theta is the angle between the tooth and the slot which is rotated by the toothed wheel within the time t. So theta is equal to the total angle of the circle in the radian by number of teeth plus number of cuts. So theta is equal to 2 pi by 2n is equal to pi by n. This is the diagram to find the speed of light by Fizeau's method. Children, whenever you go through the theory, you have to go through with the help of diagram. Substituting for theta in the equation 6.13 for omega, omega is equal to pi by n by t is equal to pi by nt. Rewriting the above equation for t, t is equal to pi by n omega. Derivative number 6.14. Substituting t from the equation 6.14 in equation 6.12, we'll get v is equal to 2d by pi by n omega. After rearranging, we'll get velocity is equal to 2d n omega by pi. So Fizeau had some difficulty to visually estimate the minimum intensity of the light when blocked by the adjacent tooth, and his value for speed of light was very close to the actual value. Later on, with the same idea of VSO and with much sophisticated instruments, the speed of light in air was determined as V is equal to 2.99792 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Our next topic is speed of light through different media. Different transparent media like glass, water and etc. were introduced in the path light by scientists like Foucault, Michelson to find the speed of light in different media. Even evacuated glass tubes were also introduced in the path of light to find the speed of light in vacuum. It was found that light travels with lesser speed in any medium than its speed in vacuum. The speed of light in vacuum was determined C is equal to 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. We could notice that speed of light in vacuum and in air are almost the same. Refractive index. Refractive index of a transparent medium is defined as the ratio of speed of light in vacuum or air to the speed of light in that medium. The refractive index n of a medium is equal to speed of light in vacuum by speed of light in medium. So, n is equal to C by V. The refractive index of a transparent medium gives an idea about the speed of light in that medium. Refractive index does not have a unit. The smallest value of refractive index is for vacuum, which is 1. For any other medium, the refractive index is greater than 1. The refractive index is also called as optical density of the medium. Higher the refractive index of a medium, greater is the optical density, and speed of light through the medium is lesser, and vice versa. You should not be confused with the mass density of the material of the medium. The two are different entities. The table 6.2 shows the refractive index of different transparent media. See the refractive index different media. So media vacuum will be 1, air will be closely more than 1, carbon dioxide 1.0005, ice 1.31, pure water 1.33, ethyl alcohol 1.36, quartz 1.46, vegetable oil 1.47, olive oil 1.48, acrylic 1.49, table salt 1.51, glass 1.52, and sapphire 1.77, zircon 1.92, cubic zirconia 2.16, diamond 2.42, gallium phosphate 3.50. Please student go through this link, and if you feel any doubt, call me and message me. I'll explain everything. Thank you children. We will see next topic.